Anxiety is the subset of the curse being the perfectionism.
Exactly. Exactly.
Would y'all agree?
Yes.
I totally would agree. Definitely approve.
I would say that I saw perfectionism,
Exactly.
the pattern of perfectionism through our family that brought pressure
Yep.
to have to be this person or be this role
Yes.
or be this position.
Here we grow again. Our hearts on the mend. What I want is what I want is what I want. Soft spaces.
Hey there, and welcome to Softspaces podcast. This is the podcast where I get to share a little bit of me to connect with a little bit of you so that we can create a community of wholeness together where our unmuted voices find healing so that we can thrive in every area of our lives. My name is Yolanda Lewis. I am your host, and today I have two very special guests with me because we're going to talk about breaking generational curses. We're going there. And as I kick this off, let me introduce you to these beautiful ladies first. I have Peaches here. She's back from Sisters Unmuted episode. And if you didn't get to see that episode, you definitely need to check it out. We had a good time talking there. And then I have my cousin, my sweet cousin, Libby. And I'm so glad that she's here too. What's up, y'all? How you doing?
What's up, everybody?
Blessed.
I'm doing
Blessed,
good.
blessed.
I
I'm
love
here,
it.
I'm alive.
Look, that part, live.
That part.
Glad to be alive. Okay. And to that same point of generational curses, we are alive on a mission. I remember, and I don't know if y'all remember this, but I had just came back from college. I think I was on a break and I was trying to give y'all like the tea about college,
Yeah.
college life. I went to a HBCU. TU, you know?
T is you. I gotta show my college out there, y'all.
Okay. So when I had came back from college, it was us three and our brothers. And we were sitting in the car. I don't even know why we were all sitting in the car. We thought we were cool. Had to have been.
Who knows why
We had to have thought we was cool. But I remember saying to y'all, we got to be the generation that does it different. Do y'all remember I said that?
Yeah.
We got to be the ones who do it different. So I want to talk about, of all the stuff, because there's stuff in everybody's family, right? Just because I have a podcast does not mean there ain't stuff in my family. There ain't stuff with me. There ain't stuff, right? Everybody has their own stuff. And when you looked at all the things, and I'm teeing this up so y'all could think about it. When you looked at all the things in our family, what was the one thing that you said, you know what? That's the thing that I want to change. So I'll go first so you guys can think about it. I'm going to give them time to think about it, right? The one thing that I thought about, that I saw, that I knew I wanted to take ownership of changing was the usage of my gifts. So much of our family has talent beyond like one. It's multidimensional talent. And I saw that and decided I want to make sure that the talents that I have that have been passed down, and even some that were just never used or used to its fullest capacity, I wanted to be sure to be the one to do it different, to do it more, to do it bigger, to do it in its fullest propensity. What about y'all? What did y'all notice?
Right. No, I definitely noticed. And I wanted to love differently. I do wanted to love in a different capacity and be open to the different variations of what love looks like within the dynamic of our family and just within myself. Like, because I learned differently. That's something that I learned about our generation versus the generation before us. And that's that on that.
Okay.
All right. All right. Well, for me, it was the anxiety. But I noticed that regardless of masculine and feminine throughout our lineage, it was just the fact that the anxiety always was there. It be on time before time. Get to it, and if not, then you feel this pressure in your chest. That's anxiety.
It is. It does bring anxiety
And
Maybe.
so
to have that kind of pressure.
exactly. It created to me a false like sense of I need to act and just be a facade. I had to learn like relax, zen, find a peace, find a balance because we found religion. But then it was just like just learn to find peace in the meantime, in between time, outside of church, because the church is community. However, it was to find balance through that anxiety that you have, which is through alignment, understanding who you're called to be. And that's why, for me, grounding, intentional grounding, brought that alignment. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's one of the ways that we can find a path to healing that generational pattern,
exactly.
right? So it doesn't show up. And I might even say anxiety is the subset of the curse being the perfectionism.
Exactly. Exactly.
Would y'all agree?
Yes.
I totally would agree. Definitely approve.
I would say that I saw perfectionism,
Exactly.
the pattern of perfectionism through our family that brought pressure
Yep.
to have to be this person or be this role
Yes.
or be this position, or whether you're, because even though you were the middle child, you were still a big sister.
I was.
Exactly.
I actually like to talk about because my big sister was definitely giving me like the go and the you got this and encouraging me and different things like that. Girl, you got this. Like, what are you talking about? They're looking to you. They're they're looking for advice or whatever it was that my younger siblings were looking for. And I was just like, why are they coming to me? I'm the middle child. Like, I just sit back and I chill. And she's like, no, you got this. You got this. She encouraged me so much about you got this. And not for several years before I really understood, I do got this. And when I stepped out of my comfort zone, because that's exactly what I did, I stepped out of my comfort zone and into not just being a big sibling, but a mentor and being the go-to and just being a friend. Like stepping out of siblingship and looking at my siblings needed me to be their friend. As a middle child, I can say I wasn't present because I didn't have to be. All I had to do was hold the space, and, like in my mind. Not saying that's what it was, but all I had to do was just hold a space in my mind. And when I showed up for my siblings, showing up in that space and being there for them, and they would be like, oh my God, like, this is going on or whatever. And they would share with me what was happening. And then I was just giving them what my older sister gave me, like all of the advice that she had given me and all the expertise and all of the love and different things that, and imparting so much wisdom that she had given me. I just gave it back. Like I was just kind of spewing out and, in my own way, because I was still me, know what I'm saying, in my own way. And I would give it back to them. And then they would be like, oh, I love you so much. Like, you're so great. You're so this, you're so that. And then I felt proud, and I would go back to my big sister and be like, girl, don't you know they was just like this? And she would be like, pat on the back, like, you did that, big sis. Like, you're actually showing up. You're actually doing what it is that you were really called here to do. Of course, outside of a whole bunch of other things. But as far as our siblingship and our relationship and generational curses and things like that that we've been talking about, I showed up and I was able to actually give in that space when I didn't feel like I had anything to give in that
Well,
space.
and that's another pattern that I think there's two things here, but that's another pattern of wherever you fall in your sibling line or whatever your circumstances, finding a way to disappear.
Yes.
Finding a way to disappear because somebody else got it.
Exactly.
Somebody else is going to get it. And usually, like with Libby and I, we grew up as the oldest. Right. So that fell on us, the who's going to get it. But then you get to a point where you can share that load and you don't have to show up as this got it all together. Everything's got to be perfect. Somebody's looking, let me smile.
Yes.
Kind of person.
Yes. And to that anxiety point, I'm just going to be candid with you guys. Mm-hmm. I grew under the tutelage of my abuelita.
Yes.
Abuelita.
Yes.
Okay. So she was the water boy mom. Okay. If anyone out here don't know,
let's get
water boy mama.
Water
Okay.
boy.
Look it up. All right. But anyway, so no, everything was to the book. We grew up. At first, it was non-denominational. Mm-hmm. We grew up, but then we grew into Pentecostal. Mm-hmm. And so Pentecostal, look at me, I'm still reserved.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm. Because of the tutelage.
Right.
But I could get spicy, you already know. But at the same time,
you're in your healing girl
so
era.
Because of the anxiety and everything that I've taken all of that, and that's why I'm saying with alignment.
I love that you said that because that's a thing where people are almost, and I'm going to say this loosely, breaking free of religion.
Yes.
To find themselves.
Yes.
Because, and only for this reason, because they used religion to define who they were. Exactly. And that is where there's this like falling away, if you will, from church and from religion, because people are now separating the two where they used to blanket one over the other.
Exactly.
And I believe very strongly God made you a little bit spicy, like even down to the sriracha car you drive. Okay. Yes. And even for you, when you said earlier about you wanted to be who you were, coming out of what you knew to be the truth, to say, actually, I can carve my own path. And matter of fact, I'm going to dye my hair any color I feel like it when I do it. And look like a beautiful mermaid all at the same time.
Just so you know, yes, I do.
Every time.
Any color.
I could never, just so y'all know, you will never see me with like look, I'm gonna do like this. It don't even go. It you'll never see me. No, but she rocks it. Like I could never rock it the way that she rocks it.
I love it.
Because it's not for me, right? And I'm okay with that. Yeah. I like my hair very plain. You might see me get a little bit spicy with braids.
Sorry.
First of all, you'll see me get spicy with braids. I like braids. And you'll see me spicy with changing it up. I might do a short bob instead of a long bob, right? Or I probably won't wear my hair curly on here, guys.
Because
but
I promise
ladies
you, I didn't want to wear the hair curly tonight.
but we could do curly, straight, like, and that's actually a generational pattern that's not necessary.
That's the perfectionism.
It is. And so breaking out of that to be like, I want to have it straight. Like, that's just my thing. I don't have to have it curly.
But there's the thing, what I love about us, our family, we're go-getters. Mm-hmm. We have vision. Mm-hmm. We set forth. Mm-hmm. So I did mention the cooking earlier. Mm-hmm. We can throw it down.
Oh,
men, women, children.
Hands down.
But in the same sense, everyone in our family, we make it plain, we have manifestations.
Well, we have the power to, right? For example, we can cook, but no one has ever done a cookbook.
Exactly.
No one.
Can we make a cookbook?
Let's do it. So we're not going to date
a lot of alcohol.
You'll have all the recipes.
Coquitos?
A little bit of eggnog and probably some rum vodka. I don't know. that's just peaches.
Well, so this is how we create soft spaces. We're
And
honest.
saucy sauces.
And no sauce, but we are honest. So
Yeah.
you're going to always hear honest dialogue. And I hope you're enjoying this podcast so far. Let's get back into the patterns that we saw and let's talk about how we chose to break them. So I'm going to let you go first, Peaches, in sharing how you chose to find you and green hair and piercings and all these things. How did you go about breaking the mold of this is how it should be and not forsaking all of it because it wasn't all bad teaching,
Exactly.
right? It wasn't. It was
a
foundational.
Journey. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Earlier. It's a foundation.
It's
you don't forget, but you bring it in.
You bring it in
Doing
and
alignment.
you figure it out. But for you, how did you go about doing that, bringing it in and figuring it out and laying it back out and all the things?
Regurgitate.
Yeah. How did you find your way through that?
So what I will say, how I found my way, because I'm definitely a unique individual.
Baby.
Thank you, snap, 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 right? And all of my family knows that and realizes it. But what I had to learn was how to set boundaries. That was extremely hard for me. I've been through a lot of different traumatic experiences and relationships and things like that. However, I had to learn to find my voice and learning the different variations of what it looks like. So me saying, okay, well, yeah, I'm going to be the one that's going to have the green hair, but it doesn't take away from or lavender or whatever the case is, but it doesn't take away from what my values are, what my principles are. I also need people to enter and understand that there are certain things and there are certain boundaries that I have set, that I've learned to set, that, okay, well, once we get here, then this is where I draw the line. This is where I fall back. This is where I say, okay, well, now I need to reevaluate. Because I'm such a giving person, I'm such a loving person, I'm someone who will literally give the shirt off my back. I'm definitely someone like that. However, in certain spaces, if you're not traveling along the same journey that I'm traveling along, there are certain people that could take advantage of that. And whether they're your loved one or it's a friend or a coworker or whatever the case is. And I had to learn it very strongly and very fervently that you have to say, okay, well, hey, in this space, I love you with everything that I have in me. However, I need to say, okay, well, with all the love that I have for you, I'm not willing to go this place with you because it doesn't work for me. And in those spaces, choosing to set those boundaries, I had to realize that me setting those boundaries, I guess if it hurt other people's feelings or not, I still had to set those because that was what was best for me. I had to actually choose me. That was something that I had a challenge with was choosing me in moments where I love my family and I give my all and I give my everything. But for me to be the best me that I can be, to show up for myself and to show up for my family, I have to kind of draw the line here, which was hard, but it was best for me. And I'm glad that I was able to do that in certain spaces so that others knew how they could deal with me.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's fair for you and for them to know in advance because they may not know how to respect that boundary and you'll have to teach them.
Right.
Yes.
And that's what the lesson is for them is they're learning how to respect whatever the said boundary is. What about for you?
Well, before I get into my part, I wanted to talk about what we mentioned earlier. We said, you're not a judge. You're not like a Little Wayne. I'm weighing sins of forgiveness. And so when you understand, you're not judgmental like, oh, this is you and you're this type of person and I want to judge you this way. No, you're in your heart and mind. You're just saying like, this is not right. This does not sit well with my spirit.
That's such a good point. You don't have to use the hammer.
Exactly.
You're just setting the boundary.
For me, when it comes into the alignment and the anxiety portion, with that, this is not fair, this is not right, this is not just, or because this is not fair, this is not right, this is not just, now I have to exert, I have to put a facade, I have to pretend, or I have to be so harsh, I have to be so angry. It's not in alignment. So what do? Find balance and create balance, because you have to understand this world is not just. The world is not just. So what do? We ask for guidance, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to lead us on the path. And so with the alignment, for me, it's intentional grounding. Intentional grounding. To me, it's about the spiritual, your oneness with God, our creator, because he is the one who guides us.
I love it.
What would you say that you've done to be able to manage when you come across those times where you feel as though the anxiety is kind of rising up in you? Like, what kind of things do you do, or that you recommend for people to do when those kind of anxiety feelings come up?
Okay, I'll tell you straight away. It's set aside time. When you first wake up in the morning, you open your eyes with gratitude because you're given and blessed another day. Don't just wake up at the time you need to get up and go. Give yourself some time to reflect and gracefully get into that gratitude. Then you can have time to reflect on scripture, or reflect on meditation, reflect on Headspace. Headspace is a great app where you can use to get some zen. Get up, even if you don't want to get up out the bed, like, just create some time to reflect, but also be in gratitude, because a no day is granted. Legit. That's what I can say.
I love it. I'll share that in terms of the gifts. So I'll swing it back to the pattern that I saw that I wanted to break. I haven't done a cookbook, but so many different, I know, but so many different gifts, like writing.
Exactly.
So many of our family members are writers.
So that's another part of it. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Set aside that time so that you can, before you get into the day, writing, journaling, setting and manifesting. That's what I'm saying.
And so much of our family are writers, they're performers, and not in a negative sense. We are good at getting up in front of a crowd and doing whatever it is.
Going, baby. We get the people going.
We got the people going.
So utilizing all those gifts, so many of us have ideas for business. So many of our family members have ideas for just giving something positive, putting something positive into the world. And so I've taken that, looked at my own life, and decided one thing at a time.
Exactly.
One thing at a time for those multi-dimensional.
That's how you create the anxiety.
For those multi-dimensional gift people, one thing at a time. You want to focus on one thing at a time. Make a list of all the gifts, but you tackle one thing at a time. So, for example, my first thing that I tackled was a book, and now I'm the author of 14. They're all over the wall here in my office. Another thing that I've accomplished is an album. I did a mini EP, and that was exciting. It was called Purple Butterfly. Check it out. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Another thing I accomplished was degrees. I have multiple degrees in business and finance and counseling. And I'm an avid reader, and I love to laugh, and I She's giving me the, so that's our, I'm going to share the little skinny with you guys. When we do this here, that's the nerdy signal, because that's what they refer to me as, the nerd. But even on this panel, you have models. You have
baby.
you have models, you have poets, you have all kinds of people who can speak life into you. So I want you to take a moment to look into your own family line, and I want you to look into the patterns that you see and evaluate what gifts are not yet being used that need to be used through you. What gifts are not being used? We talked about breaking the curse of them not being used. But I want you to look at what's not being used. Is there anyone in your line that you see struggling with a pattern of perfectionism? If you see that in your line, you might also see anxiety. You might also see depression. You might also see overwhelm. And when you see those things, I want you to look at and think about how that connects to you. As we do at the end of every single podcast, we take a moment to breathe, and we take a moment to center ourselves into what is coming up in this moment, and we listen to our bodies and connect to our bodies to explore what is coming up. So for the next part, we're going to explore it through breath. And as you are getting ready to breathe, we're going to take 2 breaths in and 2 breaths out from the deepest part of ourselves. If you are driving, please do not close your eyes. If you are not driving, I invite you into the soft space. Let's breathe together. Deep breath in through your nose. One more breath. And exhale. As you exhale, you might find that your body wants to make a sound. That's okay. Let it. Deep breath in. One more breath. And exhale. If you find that you need to breathe more times, please do so. If you find that you are now brought into a space where you want to really just sit and think about all the things that we shared in this episode as it relates to the patterns in your family, please feel free to do so. And in the meantime, I thank you for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care and God bless.